Yo. What's up, guys? My name is Kevin Davis. I am a comic creator, author, entrepreneur, go-giver, and I occasionally gets yelled at for not sleeping. But welcome back to a new episode of Kevirsyle Network. And this time we're with my good friend Kristico, who is an author, who is a great friend of mine, and he's here to share his story. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing other than not sleeping?
Man, I can't complain. I'm blessed. I love creating. I'm a bit tired. I have to run some errands before get hopping on here right quick. But made it on time. But I'm alive. But so
Hey, that's all that matters. That and like I said to you when you jumped on here before we started, life happens. It.
oh
The
yeah,
sooner we accept that life happens, it transitions a lot smoother.
agreed. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I know
Well,
you have a book called Out of the Ashes, which is also a journal, I believe. Because
it comes with a companion journal, Into the Fire, because that's where really a lot of the deeper work starts. I get the book is quick, simple. Um, I wanted to write it so that it didn't have, I always hated books that had these words I had to go look up.
agreed.
And you've never
I
heard about
agree.
that word anywhere else but that book, and you never will
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
So I wanted something that somebody basically with the simplest of reading skills could read it. So that way
hmm
they could understand how they themselves can stop failing themselves every day and start building a more positive relationship with self.
hmm
For me, I've always struggled with that mental health issues, seasonal affective disorder, family crap, that like we all have had, streets, alcoholism, drug addiction, horrible relationships. And, I'm probably saying things that a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, I know that one. Yeah, yeah, they're going to be checking it off. Yep, yep,
Yep.
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 So I'm not much different than some people, but I'm very different from most of society because I am nomadic. That I've been nomadic since COVID, and I've struggled with homelessness since the '90s because after the '90s, you couldn't afford an apartment with a regular job. So I've been trying to create myself all my life. I did music, and I never learned to play an instrument, and when I finally got the chance, I wrote a couple of songs and collaborated with somebody, and 12 years later, I got one on a producer's desk. So I mean, for me, by saying that, that just shows that I had a dream as a child, and
hmm
yeah, I may not have been the guy on the big stage, yet one of my songs may be heard on the radio someday. To
hmm
me, that right there, I've climbed the mountain. Bucket list almost complete. I've written
Yep.
poetry books mostly. For I use my poetry to explain my biography. It's
Okay.
kind of a different approach, but I have different books. Like my first one was on recovery. No, my first one was on the streets as a youth and a teen. My second one was on my recovery of 10 years, before I stepped out of AA and decided to do it without beating myself up every day. AA is a great cornerstone. I got nothing against it, but for me, I didn't like going to a meeting and then downing myself while I spoke. I
hmm
can't build myself up and become better if I'm continually beating myself up every meeting. It made no sense to me. It's counterintuitive for me. And
Hey, what's up,
I
Phil?
what's that?
My friend Phil saying hey to us. I'm saying hey, what's up, Phil?
Oh, I can't see the chat. I ain't got big enough screen. So hey,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Phil is a very amazing artist. He's a really good friend of
nice,
mine as well. So he was just saying hey to both of us.
nice. Thank you for saying hi. But I had published those two books shortly after college and lost the rights to them in a legal, well, not lost the rights, but I'm fighting KDP to get my rights back so I can finish that 13 book section. And
KDP is a beast.
huh?
KDP is a beast.
Well, it is when, the publishing company goes belly up, and then the courts settle out with everything, and you're like, what happened? I didn't know that my publisher was gone. Where'd they go? And then
Yeah.
you talk to the guy. I mean, he lives in the next couple towns over. I literally talked to him online, got screenshots of him saying, you guys have all had your rights back since 2017.
Wow.
And it was like, really? Really? But KDP won't release it. So I didn't go to KDP when I thought this book was ready. And this book really came out of, I was still in my car, but I was utilizing a friend's home in a small town here in Maine. And they were really good people. They allowed me to, shower, food, all that stuff. And I did some work for them as well. And as my health got worse, the more I did, the worse I would seem to get after COVID. So I stayed there for a couple of years, and it gave me time to write the book. It gave me time to see things in my life that I never thought I'd see, like dragonfly molting, cicada bugs coming out of the ground, climbing the tree, shedding and flying off. I mean, I got all that stuff on recordings. It's like, who else gets to see that but these guys that get paid to go do it? So for me, I started finding me. I started finding the foraging life that I always craved. I started really, digging deep and calling myself out on my own bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I started really saying, I'm never going to get beyond this point if I don't start learning to love me and being comfortable in my own skin. So doing that, I just started using my voice recorder and started like my thoughts. And, by the next time you just start going, and the next thing you know, you got a whole chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And in this book, the chapters are a couple of pages to a couple of paragraphs because I wanted to get quick, simple, and to the point. And like just for a good one on the first one, the alarm clock and sleep. How many people can say that they hit that snooze alarm, or they roll over and get on Facebook and lay there a little bit longer, and then all of a sudden they're in a hurry. Their
Right.
whole day is rush, 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 and then something happens, spill coffee, dump their food, get in an accident, what have you,
Yeah.
and then their whole day is ruined, and they blame everything, but they're
But
not putting
themselves.
themselves in the mirror room and saying, what did I do to start this domino effect? Did I have a piece of this? Well, yes, you did, because you didn't get up when you planned to. You didn't give yourself enough time to get something nourishing in you, clean yourself, and do the things that show you love yourself. And the thing is when we fail on ourselves every morning that way, it becomes a routine. It becomes a ritual, a habit. And then all of a sudden, you got to break that habit. So my first one was the alarm and sleep. And also with the sleep is you got to set bedtime and a wake time and stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
If your sleep's all over the place and you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to burn out sooner or later. And burnout usually comes with arguments, comes with problems at work. It comes with fights, and then you really start going against yourself. You really start, you're fighting yourself because you don't want to have that fight, but you got no other choice but to be grumpy because you burnt yourself out. You've killed everything you got in until you crash. And then crashing still takes a while to recover from.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know that from experience.
Oh, me too. So you gotta go to bed at the same time. And I always say I always tell people, read the first step, do it for 30 days. See how many times you give up on yourself. That really tells you that person really truly wants to dig in deep. Because it isn't going to be a fun journey. Change is never fun. But if your life has always been chaos, chaos precedes change. And until you change, that chaos is going to get deeper and deeper and deeper.
That is true. And for those that's coming in, we're talking about Mr. Kristico's book, Out of the Ashes. I had the opportunity to actually read the book for the first time when you sent it to me, and I relate to it so very well, especially about self love and like basically finding yourself and holding yourself accountable. But I really want to touch on about the journal part of the book. Can you break that down? Why you decided to put a journal within your book, and like
Well,
how did that come to fruition?
doing an ebook, it was such a small amount of pages, and I figured why not throw the journal in? It's an ebook, you know. I'm not looking to get rich. I've given away more books than I've ever sold in all three of my books. To me, it ain't about the money. To me, it's about helping somebody else. For
Mm,
me, the journal was accumulative information from multiple other resources that I had read into. And I do believe I mentioned in the book, if they want to know the sources, go research, because I want people to learn to research. We're in a day and age that we have it in our hands and nobody does any research anymore. So I made a point to
true.
put it in the book. If you want to know where this stuff comes from, go look. I weren't going to make that job easy. That's part of self-love, is learning how to take care of yourself and searching for the answers as well.
Mhm.
So the journal really came about because I had learned myself, you know, as a writer, I always got into these phases where I wouldn't write for a long period of time, and I'd be like, wow, I feel empty. I feel kind of, I don't know, drained of what I used to have passion for.
Mhm.
And I said, geez, how can I? And I had done some research, and Da Vinci's like, I love Da Vinci, and the boundaries he pushed, and the things that he allowed his brain to think upon. Just shows that no matter what, your brain, your thoughts are the only thing limiting you from being a Da Vinci in time. But I got thinking, you know, Jesus, that Da Vinci journal really worked for me. Maybe I could cater it around so that the pieces that I found from most people didn't work. How can I make it work? How can I make them understand it instead of using the $30 words that when you shrunk them down didn't mean squat?
Mhm.
So, you know, the thing is we always have that gut feeling. When something's going to happen, we get a gut feeling. And what do most of us do? We don't even sense it because we ain't self aware about nothing. We probably think we're going to let some gas off or something later instead of, you know, your body is speaking to you.
True.
So I'm like, how can I do that? How can I show them that the gut is the subconscious in one because it speaks? And so the journal's purpose is plain and simple is don't think, don't correct, don't reread, don't scratch out, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about the spelling, don't worry about nothing. Shut your mind off, sit down and write. Write until you can't write no more. And I mean, you can't be sitting there going and thinking, well, I'm going to go see June. Well, I'm going to go see June. No, you've got to learn to, you've got to untrain that. And that's why it's called Into the Fire, because now you're going to fight. You know, the steps, you know, the allowance sleep, morning self-care ritual. Everybody knows that. Wash your face, brush your teeth, hair. You know, I love you is the one I got to hit to go further into this journal.
Mhm.
I was taught by a gentleman, Robert was his name, and he was one of my sponsors in AA. And he taught me one valuable lesson that took me 5 years to get. And plain and simple, you get into that bathroom, you grab that sink, the edge of that vanity, whatever you put your hands on, you stare yourself dead in the eye, you say your name out loud. Your full name out loud and say, basically, I would be looking in the mirror and I'd be going, Christopher Robert Colford, I love you. Dead in my eyes. And I'll tell you what, today doesn't bother me to do it. For the first 5 years, I got sick to my stomach, nervous. I didn't want nobody hearing me, nothing.
Mm.
It was almost like it was a sin to tell myself I love myself.
Why did you feel that way?
I don't know. I think we are taught in society that I love you is for certain things in certain ways. And nowadays, when I was young, anyways, nowadays it's just thrown out there everywhere. I mean, I don't say I love you to someone unless I mean it.
True.
You got to be in that brotherhood. Something like I'm old school brother school. Like you got your brother's back.
Oh
And
yeah.
they got
Oh yeah.
yours. Today, someone says brother, and then they'll turn around and stab you in the back. And it's like, I don't understand today. So I'm hoping that, this book will bring people that way. But by loving yourself, and another thing is the whole leave yourself love notes. Heart shapes, post-it notes, and like by your bed, put down, dude, today is your day. Don't forget. You know, um, you know, bro, give somebody a smile today you normally frown at. You
Mm-hmm.
know, pick me up things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for in the journal, that's why these steps are in line for 9 of them. Because when the journal comes up, if you haven't successfully been able to do these 9 steps for the 30 days consecutively, piece by piece, and you just like, I'm not going to do that step because it doesn't portray to me. Well, if you're reading the book and you're getting something out of it, all steps portray to you.
Yep.
You got to stop
Uh,
lying to yourself because it
it's
half
like
measures availed nothing.
yeah, as I was reading, a lot of it did hit me. If I'm being honest with you, especially I had a problem with self love for a while. That was a time like I didn't believe love was real, and I didn't have the self confidence and like to believe in myself or think I was like even worthy to even be on this earth for a
Yeah.
long
Oh,
time.
believe me, I knew that. I felt
Man,
that for years.
it yeah, it took me a while to like understand who I was and like why am I here. And and I think I really started finding my purpose when I graduated high school. Back in 2018 is when I graduated high school.
Wow.
As I was figuring out my writing gift, when I found I had to gift of writing when I was in ninth grade after writing my very first paper, and then over the years, at the 4 years in high school, each teacher I've had always gave me a compliment of how my writing has progressed. And so, of course, I was like, okay, y'all just being nice. Of course, I brush it off. I was like, okay, y'all just being nice to me for some reason. So probably because I'm one of the good kids in this freaking school. I'm the one like with a good clean record in school. I was like, okay, y'all just being nice to me. I'm like, y'all don't mean that crap. Okay, sure. But then senior year, everybody came back to me telling me how my writing was really good. And then it started to sink in. I was like, okay, they keep coming back to me. And so every time I wrote something, I had like this joy when I wrote something. I ran to like my former teachers. I was like, hey, look, can you read this? And tell me what you think. Or like, and when I get like a graded paper back, I legit go back to my former teacher. I got this during this paper when I wrote this, and everyone says like, dude, I'm like, kid, you're really good at writing. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. And it took. I was like, that feeling of joy just started flourishing a bit. Of course, I still try to suppress it because I didn't think it was real. I think it was like I felt like it was like a temporary thing. Um, but then learning my mother is a writer, that got me interested after reading her murder mystery and reading her poetry that she wrote about me and my sister. That's how I fell in love with poetry. And I got to, and my brain just started clicking. It's like, can I do this? It's like, can I try this? Before, my mom always taught me, said, don't say I'm going to try to do this. She always say, do it, because if you're trying, you're procrastinating. But if you
Well,
do it, you go. If so, you're doing it. You're tricking your brain to let you know you're doing it,
that's
and
old school thinking.
yeah, and that's how your when your brain says doing it, now your body is going to react, and you're actually going to end up doing it. And so I started doing it, and I started writing my poetry. Heck, I even created my own journal myself, hardcover. Um, and I wrote. and I wrote my first poem I wrote was about being fatherless, growing up without a father, especially my feelings, how I felt. Oh, like with the anger, with the depression, with the anxiety, and then as I kept going, I progressed to writing about love and like positivity and getting through hard times. And then from that, it progressed to write my first novel. I took down because I wasn't ready for that yet. But now I'm picking it back up a few years later. I'm actually back to writing it, and because I'm in a better headspace and a better position to write it and explain my story and be able to be open to share my story. And then from writing that, I got into comics.
Yeah,
Around
I'm
20.
jealous. I'm jealous because I can't write a regular book. If that book had to be more detailed, it never would have gotten written because I
Yeah,
mess up past tense, present tense, and like
appreciate you,
current.
pops.
I can't keep track of who, what, where, when. I don't know how people write
Yeah,
books like that. I mean, I just got
it's
done. I'm
you
reading
really have.
this guy's book right now, Daniel Quinn.
Yeah,
Mind's Meal. He got a three
uh,
set book. I'll tell you what. That book, I don't read much because I have scotopia. I
mm,
don't have a good memory. Like I don't remember any of my poems, any of my songs. It's weird. It's like the Da Vinci thing all the way through. I don't remember. Like I was telling you, what was it, today or yesterday? I says, yeah, I don't remember a word I said in that in the mental health podcast. And you're like, what?
uh,
I had to go
yeah,
listen to it. And I was like, wow, I said that? Because I
uh,
do. I go into this. I believe strongly if you're planning out what you're going to say, you're already trying to make it sound better. I
yeah,
want it to be authentic because being authentic may be rough. It may not be acceptable in today's society, but I want it to be real and I want it to be truthful. I mean, I lived a long life of drinking and drugging, and I don't know. I still catch myself today sometimes going, no, that story isn't right,
hmm
and fixing it because that's self love. Now, getting back to the Da Vinci Journal,
hmm
a lot of people are going to have a hard time with that. Just write. But the thing is what you do is you write and you set a time frame up, if and you write. You don't sit there and think about it. You don't ponder it. You don't plan it.
facts.
You
Yep.
just blank your mind out and just write. And that does take a bit of practice. That's why I tell
hmm
people in the book, try some Zazen meditation because that helps you bring your mind into focus. So when you get to the journal, you already know how to bring your mind into focus, to
hmm
not focus. When you know how to focus, it's easier to not focus
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because you already know how to do one way. It's easy to go, okay, no, we're going to shut it down. And that's why
And,
each step
and
is
and
imperative.
would you mind if I share the your document link of the book in the comment for people to read the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you got the link to where they can go get the book?
Yeah, because I got the document you had sent me, so I was gonna say your Google Doc that you had sent me. I was make sure
Well,
that's okay.
that one I got to hang on to. I can't be sharing that one out because of copyright
Okay.
issues. So I'll
Okay.
give you a link at the end to have you. I mean, they can go, and I do believe each one of them has like where you go. They can go in and check out some of the book.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because what you got is a really rough draft. This
Oh,
there's,
okay.
there's grammatical crap bad in it all the way around.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, can I continue?
What's that?
I was like, you can
Oh,
continue.
I
That's
totally
yeah,
blanked out there for a minute. Like, huh?
understandable.
But yeah, with the book, what you do is when you get that first writing done, you don't read it. You close that book and you set it aside. You go to
Mhm.
bed. Meditate if you want or whatever. The sleeping thing sets up a time frame at the end of the night so that you are following a routine so you can fit that in and,
Mhm.
and not hurt yourself in your sleep time. But what you
Uh,
do is the next night you get a highlighter, you pull that book out,
mhm.
you read what you wrote, and you highlight what you absolutely do not remember saying. You can't remember a pinch of it, none of it.
Mhm.
If you don't remember writing certain sentences, you highlight that sentence. And then the next night you write and then you go the next night and you highlight. And what I used to do when I was learning this is I would take my sentences and I would put them in a separate notebook. I'd get me one of these little, like, smaller ones,
Mm.
and I'd write the sentences in there. And then I'd ask myself usually at the end of the day, I'd take like my Sunday. That way I'd have even days. I'd take my Sunday or Saturday, whatever's easiest for anybody. And I would use that day to read over my sentences that I pulled out. And I would sit there and ask myself, what do these pertain to that has to do with me?
Mm.
And usually what's funny is while you're thinking of something, not thinking of something and writing,
Mm.
your subconscious is telling you exactly what you've been thinking about.
Mm.
Like, let's say you were thinking about a problem. It's in the back of your mind. Oh, you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay that bill, or, geez, can I get the editing done in time to get the podcast out? It's in the back of your mind. You're like, man, I got to take time to do this. Self-love, you're arguing with yourself. And your subconscious, if you remember, like, that day, what you was like, when you write them in this book, you put like Monday, and you write and then Tuesday,
Yep.
And that way you can go, geez, what was my, why does this sentence stick out? What does it mean to me?
Mm.
Most times it's your subconscious saying the shit that's in the back of your mind, this is your answer, or this is your direction. And sometimes it comes out really cryptic.
Mm.
It's learning. It's like that gut feeling.
Mm.
You're like, man, do I get gassed? Did I eat something wrong? Or no, it's your gut screaming to you, hey, don't do that.
Oh yeah.
And forgiveness is a big part of self-love, because with forgiveness, I think we talked about this in the mental health piece too, is forgiveness is a huge piece of self-love. As you do this book in the journaling, you're going to find spots where you're like, and you're going to be like, what's going on? And you're going to know some sort of way that you got to forgive yourself, and then what happens is, as we said in one of the other podcasts, mental health, is people don't realize they can't grow beyond and heal to a degree or beyond a certain degree because they're hanging on to the blame subconsciously. They don't see it consciously. And like easiest one to think of, and I know I don't mean to like get any flack or anything, but when I said this to the ladies in the jail, when I worked in the jail, they all just went all at the same time. And I was like, oh, I think I got something here. Plain and simple. Let's say a woman goes out to a bar, something happens. She could, at home, she might have had, like when she was trying on different outfits or whatever, her stomach might have been giving her, her thing going, hello, not that one. Or good one is the guy wants to walk her out from the bar and he's a bouncer and she's like, oh, I'm be fine. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Yet in her gut, it says, don't refuse it. But she didn't listen to her gut. Mm-hmm. She subconsciously, there's blame for that. And there's psychological proof for it. There's research articles out there. But we blame ourselves for subconsciously for not listening to our subconscious. And it's really weird to think that we blame ourselves for that subconsciously, because it's like, how the hell do you remedy that? Unless you research it, how do you remedy it? Most people have no clue.
Good point.
So you've got to get to that point subconsciously, and sometimes that journal brings it to forbearance. And it is all about, that's what it's all about self-awareness. It's all about learning to feel that gut through this journal. And that's why I call it Into the Fire, because now they're going to start hearing their own truths. And a lot of people have a hard time with that because some people don't want blame, don't take accountability, and have really shoved all that down in and have blamed the whole world for their problem. Well, when you got to dig that chicken shit pile up and it's liquid underneath and it smells, Some of
Mhm.
us probably out there know what it's like to raise pigs or whatever. When it gets piled up and it gets liquidy on it, that's the shit that you're going to have to prepare for.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
going to be messy. It's going to stink. It's going to bring tears. It's going to bring anger. It's going to bring, you're going to be so angry. Some people are going to be so angry and so wanting to take out violent rage on somebody, and they're going to realize, wait a minute, that's me.
Yep,
I'm angry at me.
I was that person. I can admit that I was that person. I
I was
I
too.
I used to blame everyone around me for my problems. I blamed my sisters, my mother, my grandmother, hell, my even the friends I had. But the problem was me because I was deflecting and not eternally looking into myself. And and plus deflecting was way easier than just looking in the mirror because I did not want to look at myself because I already felt ugly and I already knew I was ugly. And and that's also why I got into writing, is because writing became my therapy and helped heal the the inner child in me, as people say. And
Oh, yeah.
then
Well,
as I expanded from writing, I got into podcasting and learning my voice and trying to figure out how to articulate better off the paper, and like find different ways to maybe help somebody, and even if it's just one person, that makes my entire day.
oh, yeah.
And then when I got into podcasting, my friend Pops, who was over this Madness Entertainment Group network, uh, he invited me to a part of this network. Of course, I hesitated for a minute because I was like, I'm just getting started on this. I was like, I am terrified to do some type of live stream. I'm like, can I hold a conversation on a full-fledged live stream? Then I think about it. I've been on podcasts as a guest on other shows for a past year before I started my own podcast. So I was like, so
It, it,
yes, then that's when I'm like, yes, I can hold a conversation. And then I took like Pops for like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock, or I was like, you know what, screw it, let's do it. Yes, I would love to join the network. And Pops took me up here, and now I'm having the time of my life. And it was like, from that moment, I was like, Pops see something in me I didn't see in myself. And it was the best decision that I said yes, because I am having the time of my life podcasting now. And the fact that I can actually use my voice in a different way and help others potentially, and just be there for somebody. Like I'm basically like being a friend to somebody, even if I don't know you as long. But it's just always been my passion to help somebody and just be an inspiration. And, and Pops in the comment section said that is the way. I was like, okay, Mandalorian. Uh, I'm like, and also I love that, and working with Pops. I feel comfortable just being myself, as because I am a full fledged nerd, and that's why you can tell I'm a nerd since I knew when he said that is the way. I knew he's talking about Mandalorian. Um,
I haven't even seen it.
I was
I'm
like,
not a big Star Wars fan. I'm a Trekkie, but I was raised in the 70s. So, hey,
so
look at all the Trek stuff that's here. Come on now.
yeah, I can't say I'm a big Star Wars fan either because I haven't watched all of them. Only watched a few of them, but I've seen all the Star Treks, so I am a Star Trek fan because I've
I
seen all
just
the those.
watched all the movies this last month. I have the whole collection except for the brand new one. I think they got what? I got two of, I think they got three or four now of the new guy.
It's my the shows.
No, the movies.
Oh, there are three. Star Trek,
Three?
then
All
Star
right, I
Trek
might have all three
Into the
then.
Darkness, and Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah, I think I've got all three then. I might not have the Beyond. I don't know. But yeah, I'm all the way from Con all the way to Beyond. But
and
yeah, I
Pops
mean,
and Pops comments saying both were better in the 70s.
oh
Star Wars
yeah.
and Star Trek. I
Well,
was like,
back then people were the whole pie of an identity. They weren't just
true,
one identity or another.
true. I was like, true. But
But yeah,
yeah,
with the book, what I can say with people is when you go into the book, take each step 30 days and try to take that first step into the second step and put both of them for 30 days and then keep folding that. Keep folding that. Because utilizing each step continually and integrating it into a regular process routine, I'll tell you, when you learn to integrate it into a routine slowly, 30 days, one step, add the next step, 30 days for the first step again. And for, so you're 60 and 30, and then 90 and 60 and 30, you're wrapping them in. So that way it becomes a habit, a healthier habit. You give yourself more time in the morning, you give yourself proper time at night, and you hold yourself accountable. It's kind of like quitting smoking. You pick that one up oddly out of stress and you take a couple puffs and you're like, oh crap. And instead of throwing it and saying no, yeah, I got it, I might as well finish it. No, that's the same thing. That's quitting on yourself.
Right. And I just got the link you sent me.
Good. Yeah. Yeah,
And,
that takes them to
and
any
here's the link.
book buying place, and most of them have, like, you can check out a little bit of each chapter.
Like, here's the book link for you guys to check your book out. It's in the comment section.
Wow, that comment section took my whole screen.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay, there we go. Like, I just looked down and saw you sent it to me. Oh, snap! Let me put this while we're here.
But so, yeah, as far as the book though, overlaying that and it becoming a habit is probably the best thing I ever did. I mean, sadly, the way I live, it's a little difficult sometimes, but I try to hold myself accountable to those things. And when it comes to the journal will be a lot easier to understand, because by the time you've done all 9 steps and you've done them 30 days, and you've wrap them into an integral piece, you're already going to be more self-aware, because you're going to start asking questions. Why does my gut feel that way? Why this? Why? Because you start to become curious about self. There's a lot of things that happens when you change a bad habit and make it a good habit. When you swap them out, and you don't realize, like me, even today, I am still experiencing for the first time certain things that those changes had brought. And it's like, wow, I never would have thought that. Like, dealing with city people and setting up meetings. And I'm not a good salesman. I'm not good at representing. I'm better at putting my words out there, and then I have Chat GPT make them polite. I have to, because people see me as brash or argumentative. So I have to use Chat GPT to make it kind. But I mean, that book allowed me to realize that, and it was funny, is I had a multitude of things happen in my life, like creating a nonprofit when in the 90s that's still going on today. Founding a nonprofit that was built in 3 months, only utilized that nonprofit for a couple of years because it was made for one purpose, and then it went away because it was no longer needed. Right. Then I tried my third one, and that didn't go so well. And so I said, to heck with it, I'm going to give up for a while. And I tried to help a community grow. And of course, you can't tell these rich people or the political driven people, you can't tell them nothing, because a lot of them don't have self-love. They have money love. They have rising to the top love, pride, ego. And, you really got to learn to kill that. If you allow your pride and ego get in the way of bettering yourself and making yourself the best possible person you can be for all, with no expectations other than being a better self, then you've already lost the game. I don't get involved in anything where I have expectations other than a job and a contract.
Oh yeah.
And obviously when you get into a relationship, there's an emotional expectation that you'll be treated fairly, they'll treat you fairly, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's just the law of love.
My friend here, Carrie, she says she's really good at sharing people's campaigns, and she's always willing, if able, to do a fan art to promote someone's book. And she's done fan art for my comics, and it's so freaking beautiful.
See,
So
I've been thinking of if I have to redo my poetry books, I wanted to have somebody do some, just some simple drawings in it. That way I could promote their work, and
I
and
definitely Carrie has been doing some amazing art. I think you guys really connect. She'll definitely do some promotion art for you.
well, Carrie,
So,
send me a friend request.
so yeah, so I'll connect you guys and you guys take it from there.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of people that I like I love
Yeah,
most of my program.
she's more of a fan art person. Now she just left a comment.
But I mean, I do more like somebody, well, like you, like my friend Rachel, like Syria Entertainment, Seb. I'm all about promoting the heck out of other people too. I'm not the greatest at it, but when someone says blah blah blah, I'll be like, hey, I'll connect you guys. You know, it might be something. Who knows? It might turn out to be the best connection I've ever made between two people. I don't know, but I try. And that's what I like doing. Like
Yep.
Pop says, we could all.
Extend someone's reach by helping each other out. Yeah, exactly.
I believe in
Exactly.
that. I really do. And that's why, like, in the book, I mention people's name. I don't go to their last name or nothing, but it's like, hey, thank you. And when I'm here, it's thank you to those people, because it allows them to remember that they touched your life. They
Agreed,
did
Karen.
something. We can all play up. Yep, true. I can
Yep.
barely see that. I gotta like tip up to the old man section of my glasses.
I got you.
Oh,
But
I got
yeah.
three triple layers here. It's like,
Oh yeah. I'm always about community. And like I think that's how we all get better is just be a community and help each other out. It doesn't cost much to show kindness and help each other out.
no. And the
Um,
thing is,
that's
is
that's why I
when
work so much because I want to build a community and help others. Because as I grow, I want all of us to grow together.
oh, and that's the thing is I've always been, everybody says, well, how come you ain't making no money? How come you're giving your book away? And it's like if that helps that person understand that someone understands them,
Hmm.
then and is there for them,
Exactly.
then that was all worth the money that I might not have gotten.
Hmm.
It don't matter to me, and most of it I end up giving away anyways.
Carrie, she said you have to check Kevin sleeps and eats. He
Well,
knows. We talk all
that's
the time.
something
He
Kevin's
knows.
got to check. That's something Kevin's got to check. He got to hold himself accountable.
I was like, I've gotten better. I've gotten better. I actually do sleep and eat now.
I
What
go
is
through a bag of them in a day, just sitting there going through TikTok or Facebook while I'm bored. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh my god, where'd that extra tire come from?
oh my god. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I mean, when I mentioned, I always get yelled at for not sleeping, eating. I was not kidding. Carrie's the one that yells at me for not sleeping and eating. I was not kidding whatsoever.
Well, I'm surprised. Some nights when I can't sleep, you're up, and I'm like, I ain't gonna bug him because I know he's busy. And if I bug him, he's gonna be busy even longer.
Yeah, well, at least I respond back though. So,
Well,
um,
it's now. Was there any part in my book that really confused you? That really made you go like, why? How come?
surprisingly, no.
Wow.
Honestly, because
I always
I actually read it twice before we came on here. I got when we did the other podcast, I was not done, but I got done this time. But actually, I went over it twice this time, and sometimes like reading the first time, I don't get it, but reading like a second, third time, where I like deep dive into like start thinking about it, and after the second time, I was like, this actually makes total sense. And I felt, and reading your book, I actually felt like you was writing about me in some areas, especially with the
I've,
self love part.
I've heard that a few times. They're like,
And
dude, what did you do? Dig into my brain? I'm like, yep.
yeah, literally, I was like, I mean, I haven't even told you my full story yet, but it felt like you knew me before I even told you when I read your book. I was like, is this dude a magician? They're like, Thanos snap and go back to the past and look at my story or somehow.
I
But
was
no, I actually wasn't confused at all after the second read, and I think I'm actually going to read it again because it's a really a brain opener or mind opener or whatever, however it's said. Um, but I think it really will help a lot of people. So I hope people actually get to read the book and actually enjoy it because it's actually a really good book, especially as a short book. But even though it's short, it's still very powerful.
well, I always tell people, because it's a book that's not going to be for everyone at that moment. I
You
got
got
people that have
me
gotten the book
twisted.
said, I don't get
Uh,
it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like,
yeah,
you're not ready. It's
yeah,
called The Back Pocket.
yeah. Carrie, the link is right here. If you want to check out the chapters of his book, we're talking
Yes.
about.
I'm not sure which places give you more chapters, but there are some places
But
that sell
yeah,
it that allow you like a couple pages of each section, which most sections just a couple pages. It's to the point.
yeah. And she said
But
he
yeah,
worries me when he juggles so much and still smiles like sunshine. When she's talking
most of
about
us,
me.
Carrie, most of us crazy MFs, that's how we
Yeah,
do it.
pretty much. Yeah, I'm concerned when he finds time to sleep.
I wait until I pass the hell out most times.
I do too, because when I'm writing, I write multiple comics every single day.
Holy
Like
moly.
yeah. So when I get to a point where I'm just like done for like the day, I put on like some music, like was it the instrumental music sometimes, um, and just let my brain rest and see if I fall asleep. But then there's other times I just fall asleep while typing. And I just was like, all right, I'm going to listen this time. I'm going to shut my brain off, at least try to, and shut my laptop off and go get some water and pass out.
Well, what I do is
Yeah.
I try to set a bedtime. Sadly, living
Yeah,
the way
I
I
try
do
to do that,
sometimes.
but it doesn't work for me. Yeah,
Well,
I,
you've got to hold yourself accountable.
I'm trying, but it's just my brain just keeps going because I have so much I want to tell and do. But I am trying to get to a point where I'm organizing better. Where I was like, okay, I write this for this certain amount of time, then take a break for this certain amount of time, and then I come back to it, and then I have family time with my sister. Because we go out like for a walk or something.
Nice.
We actually tomorrow I'm not working at all. Tomorrow I'm going to a circus.
Woo.
After I have a show in the morning on somebody else's show. Then after that, I'm going to lunch with my sister, and then we're going to the circus, to the water circus tomorrow. So I was like, so
Nice.
I do be out in the, as Carrie says, I just you find Kevin out in the wilderness. I was like, yes, I do go out, Carrie. I do go out. I go to craft fairs. I go to circuses. Jesus, my voice going out a little bit. Sorry.
See, I
Um,
don't do any of that. I hate circuses. I hate fairs. Yeah, I'm not into the crowd. I used to be a crowd person when I was younger,
mhm.
but I just find that crowds are too, I don't know, they're too stimulating for me lately. I don't know what, since COVID,
No,
there's been a big
man,
change in how I like and dislike things.
that that's funny because I'm like I've been like that my entire life as an introvert, but now I can tolerate it a bit more, especially networking, especially learning how to network and stuff. I kind of can tolerate it better now. Of course, I always make a joke. I said my social media is overheating right now. um, but it does feel good to like get out and just get some sun and like be around some people. Yes, it still gets overstimulating, but then again, like I said, I can tolerate it because I'm with people. I'm with my family that I trust, so it balances out.
Yeah,
Um,
when you're out there with people you can trust, you can relax,
yeah.
you can
Oh yeah.
enjoy.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have plenty of
Photo
photos,
proof.
Carrie, just for you, sweetie. Oh my God. See what I mean? See what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? That's a friend. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
friend
Oh
because a
yeah.
friend will
He's
call you
amazing.
out. They'll make fun of you. They
Oh
they
heck yeah.
know that they can.
Oh yeah, she always makes jokes about me, especially when I post photos that I'm outside. Like uh, like I was at the zoo and like the safari park. I posted photos. She commented saying, "Kevin out in the wilderness? That's a shock."
I was gonna say I don't remember ever seeing anything other than you with a microphone on.
Yeah, you have to. It's on my Facebook. You just have to search it. Like you always say, you have to search
Ah,
it.
you're one of those, but people have to dig into your photos. Yeah, I get
Like
it.
you have to search it. I was like, cause it's like one of the rare photos I post because most of the time I'm posting about work. So it's like, but you have to catch it when it's first live, and then when it doesn't, because I'm going to blast work right afterwards. So you have to search it.
Now, one thing I want to say before the podcast ends is that
Mm,
anybody listening or anybody that listens to this after it's been posted
mm,
and you know the live is done, doesn't matter how many years down the road, if I can be homeless and publish books, create nonprofits, work in a jail, be on boards, be a city chair, safety chair, you know, and do those types of things. And this time I'm in my car, I've written a book, I've submitted my first bill to the Maine state legislature to get rid of spam calls and texts.
mm,
Um, you know, I've done so many things, and now I'm fighting for a community that wants to grow but doesn't want to grow. It always blows my mind how communities are that way. But you know, if I can do that in my circumstance, there is nothing you can't do.
mm,
Only your mind and you're telling yourself that you can't is the only, you know. And if you've heard your mother say you ain't never gonna amount nothing, or your dad, or you know, you use, that's the past. You got to learn to just shut the door on that until you can look at it in a healthy way and grow from the lessons that are hidden within them. You know, like how not to say that to your kids, how not to repeat those behaviors, how not to believe those tapes
mm,
and them recordings. You know, that's a hard thing, but that's what this book is about, really kind of teaching you. Because you know, sleep in bed, you can put that to, you know, thoughts in your head. You know, you can bounce things back and forth, and that's
mm,
why the steps were so simple of everyday life. So you could take those and place other things in place of them and say, how can I integrate this to work?
mm,
You know, that's the beauty of this book. You know, it doesn't go deep. It keeps you on the surface so that you can just skim the surface and not have such a hard time. The
mm,
journal prepares you for the deep dive. Same thing with you're in your head. You got to skim coat it. Don't dive into the pool head first without knowing what's under the water. And that's what a lot of us do. And then we get hurt, or we get scared, or we get anxious, or hurt, you know, like emotionally damaged. And,
mm,
you know, the thing is you got to be the same amount of love, patience, tolerance, and care that you would give to somebody you love. Why aren't you giving that to yourself?
mm,
Because truly, you're not ever going to find what most of us want, which is that in return. We're not going to find that until we give it to ourselves.
mm,
Because what we give ourselves attracts others that want that and give that. You know,
yep.
each piece of our personal growth and how we tell ourselves mentally, you know, and how we stick with the negative thoughts. No, switch them with 3 positive thoughts. 3 positive thoughts about the same damn thing that you just gave yourself negative shit over.
Mm,
It's all a process. You got to either stick with it and don't give up, because you are worth that. You are valuable. You are worthy. You mean something, and you're on this damn planet for a reason. Now shine.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Man, and before we hop off, can you tell us where we can follow you on your socials? To
Well,
see what you're up to.
I'm on Facebook, TikTok under the same name. Author is at the behind my name, since I'm an author. I'm on SoundCloud under No Cover, Kristico No Cover. that's just some stuff I've been trying to get collaborations on. See, I got my fingers in all kinds of stuff too, Kevin.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, I'm just that's basically where I'm at, and where I am on a YouTube as well, but that's only a couple songs that I've collaborated on. I haven't really done much with that. I never really found much use in YouTube for what I do.
Fair. That's fair. Well, you can find me at Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO, Instagram I am Kevin Davis Official, and my website at kevirsyle.com. And you can find me here at the Madness Network because we're all mad sometimes, and it's fun to be mad. And if you have a bad day, just go outside, take a breath, walk, and don't do what I do, and just make sure you sleep.
Take your shoes off and get out
And
there and walk on the
yeah,
gravel and the dirt.
oh
And I'll
yeah.
tell you what, it works.
Oh, and Carrie says music. You could be doing songs for campaign trailers. That is true. That's possible. That is possible.
Well, I've been looking at sync licensing, but I got to find collaborators. I need people that can listen to a song and just write.
Yeah. But so thank you for coming on, Mr. Kristico, author. You can find Mr. Kristico on Facebook at Kristico Author, TikTok, and Instagram, I believe.
No
And
Instagram. They won't let
okay, no
me on for
Instagram.
some reason.
That's is weird.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, man. It's great talking
Thank
to
you
you,
for
Kevin.
inviting me.
And thank you for Carrie for coming in and holding me accountable as usual.
And bringing some comic relief.
Right. But we'll catch you guys next time on the Kevirsyle Network podcast here at the Madness.
If you missed the live viewing of any Madness Entertainment Group production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. We'll see you next time on the Madness Entertainment Group.